Alright guys, we got our Brown & Auto 5 12 gauge broke down for cleaning, and I'll show you how to put it back together. So let's start with the trigger group. I have the trigger group broke completely down. Everything's cleaned up and ready to go. The very first thing we'll do is we'll take our safety detent ball. It rides, it goes in a hole right here. There's a hole right there that holds that safety in. So we'll take that, and I have big fingers, so a lot of times I use a set of needle nose pliers, and these needle nose pliers have a magnet in it. It's magnetized, so it's sometimes a little difficult to let go of the detent ball. We'll make it work. So we want that thing, ease it right down in that hole. Come on, baby. Need 3 hands sometimes. Perfect. In the hole it goes. We'll take our safety. The flat part of the safety goes to the top. You'll notice that it has a couple little grooves in there. That's where the safety ball actually rides. So we'll just slide it right in, keeping it straight up. It fits right into place. So the next thing we're going to do is take our spring that holds the safety detent ball in. It's got 3 little ears on it, and it'll slide right in here, right down into the trigger guard, just far enough. You'll slide it just far enough into there for it to clear this little cross member right here. This spring rides under that cross member. So we're going to press it down with our punch and just ease it back. Ease that spring back into place. It helps to have a little punch to kind of help slide it. And we'll line it up. We'll line it up with this hole. Now this spring here does not have any threads on it, so you don't have to worry about lining the threads up. The screw will actually just go completely through there. So we'll take our screw and just run it through there. So let's put our trigger back in place. Let's slide our trigger in. We'll make sure our trigger gets in there exactly where it's supposed to be. There we go. There we go. Got our trigger back in there. It's got a little bit of spring pressure on it at this point, so we'll kind of press up on it to make sure everything's lined up. Put our trigger pin, slide our trigger pin right in. There we go. Once you get it lined up, you don't have to beat on this thing. It should slide right in. Once you get everything lined up just like it's supposed to, check our safety functions, trigger functions, everything works like it's supposed to do. All right, let's put our mainspring back in. So the mainspring just slides in like this. We'll line it up with our hole right here. Make sure that the safety detent spring and the mainspring all lines up. Get them started here. These threads on these little screws are very fine. All right, once you start putting that pressure on there, you'll see that mainspring start getting the proper tension. You don't have to go crazy with the tightness. All right, we got that back on, looking good. Safety works still. Everything's beautiful. So the next thing we'll do, let's put our hammer back in place. So remember I told you that this one's a little tighter than most of them that I've seen, so we'll have to use our brass hammer to get it in there. No big deal. But our hammer will go in here just like this. Make sure everything's lined up. Got my little trusty brass hammer here. Hammer's in there. Just the way we like it. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is put our safety sear back in. So we have our little spring with a little nipple at the top. Drop it right down into this hole right here. And it goes. Alright. Alright, my safety sear. Now what I like to do is take this mainspring, depress it, and actually engage it onto the hammer. So what we're doing is using mechanical force to get this mainspring out of the way, so you can just simply slide this piece on there. So this is the way it's going to go. It's going to go up, flat part up. Press the mainspring down, and then you can just use your finger just to depress the little spring down, and that'll click right into place just like that. So you got it on there, it stays in place at that point. So we'll press down the mainspring again and let the hammer engage, and you can bring it back, cock the hammer, put the safety on so the trigger doesn't actually get pulled. Alright, last thing here, we'll take our spring and it just simply slides on here like this, and we'll set it to the side. Alright, so we got our bolt. Let's take our bolt. What you'll notice, there's a half moon. There's a half moon on here that rides in a channel that's on this side. So what you're going to do is let this hang down, drop this in, let this half moon ride that channel. Fits like a glove. Alright, we'll take our firing pin. Once you got it all cleaned up, you'll notice that it has a little groove here on the top. That's where this pin actually rides. That allows that firing pin to go back and forth. And on the back of your bolt, you'll notice a channel that this thing rides in, and the actual groove will go up. Alright, so we'll slide our firing pin in. We'll slide it in, making sure that it lines up with the groove. Everything works great. Alright. Then what you'll do is you'll look. You can look through the you can actually look through the hole here and see that everything's lined up like it's supposed to. Everything's lined up beautifully. So I'm going to drive this pin in. This pin is tapered. On this particular pin, you can see the taper part right here. And the taper part will actually go towards the outside of the bolt. The side that you'll actually see from the shotgun. You can start it with your hand a little bit. I'll take a brass hammer, drive it in. Before I get too crazy on driving in, I make sure that pin is actually in that firing pin groove, and that it is. So we can go ahead and knock it down flush. Yep, that's in there. Firing pin moves freely. You can see once you engage the locking block at the top, you can actually see the firing pin protrude through, so everything looks good on that. So once it goes down, the firing pin goes back out. So we'll set that aside. Take our receiver. We'll slide our